What's up, y'all? Welcome to tonight's live. Of course, we are doing a weekly live training every week. And this is our first one, y'all. Last week, I took a week off from training. The week before that, of course, we had the realignment experience, and now we are back ready to do all that we have to do over the next couple of until I'm like, girl, I can't do no more trainings. That's how long we go do these weekly trainings, okay? So if you are watching on YouTube, hey girl, hey, I cannot see the YouTube comments today. So uh if you got the link to the Zoom room, I highly recommend that you join our Zoom session because we are live in the Zoom room. And that's where the Q&A is happening tonight. That's where the hot seat coaching is happening this evening. It's all going down in the Zoom room. So if you are not in here, girl, what are you doing? I need you to get in here to the Zoom room. And if you're like, Carmen, I need the link to the Zoom room, I got you for next week. But leave me a comment so I can make sure that you get that link so you can join me in the Zoom room next week. We're going to be going live every week again in the Zoom room, different topics. We are doing our thing. So let's dive into tonight. Tonight we are talking all about how you can create your personal operating system. And of course, it's me, your girl. So I want to know first and foremost, what in your life feels like it is the place in which you are living in default. What is the place in your life where you feel like you are living in like you feel like you are living in default? Where do you feel like you don't have the routine and the structure that maybe you need in order to be your most successful? What is that place for you? Let me know if you're in the Zoom room, let me know in the chat. If you are live on YouTube, of course, put it in the chat. I'm going back to look at the chat once this is over, but drop it there. All right, so before we get started, we gotta talk some legal things. All content, concepts, frameworks, methodologies, and materials presented in this training are the exclusive intellectual property of yours truly and CDB Education Group LLC. Unauthorized reproduction, distribution, recording, or use of any of the materials from this session in whole or in part without the express written permission of CDB Education Group LLC is strictly prohibited. Please note that this session is being recorded and it is being broadcast live. So your participation, including any comments shared in the chat, may be captured as part of the recording. If you appear on camera or participate in the chat, that also may be captured as a part of the recording. If you appear on camera or participate with your name visible, you acknowledge that your likeness and contributions may be included in the recording and any subsequent use of that content. If you wish to remain anonymous, I'm going to ask you that you turn your camera off and update your display name to a name or initials of your choosing prior to participating. Your privacy and comfort are important to me. I don't want this to be an uncomfortable experience, but I also want you to lean in and to learn. So let's do it. Hey there. Hey, girl. Hey. If we've never met before, of course, my name is Carmen. I am a realignment strategist as well as a system strategist for entrepreneurs, meaning I help you to make sure that your business is serving you and you are not serving your business. We've got to calm the chaos because some of us, we're running from job to job. We're burning ourselves out in our business. And that's because your business is not serving you. You are serving it. And you're trying to serve your clientele at the same time. And you're wondering why you're tired. Honey, it's because you're doing too much. So we're going to talk about that this evening. And tonight is all about the personal side because your business cannot run and it cannot run effectively if you are not taking care of yourself. I heard it said to me that business is a or entrepreneurship is a personal development journey. So you've got to develop your person, you, the woman behind the business, before you can develop the business. If you are not right, the business is not right. If you don't take care of yourself, the business doesn't take care of yourself. You can't take care of it. If you don't have systems in place for your life, then none of it matters. So we're going to talk about it tonight. So thanks again for joining. You are in the right place if, number one, you feel like there are certain areas, even if it's just one, where you are running on default. You're in the right place if you run a business, but you feel like you've been serving your business rather than the other way around. Your business should be serving you. You did not go into business to serve the system. You went into business to serve and make an impact. You can't serve and make that impact if you are serving your business too. Your business should be serving and supporting you. You're also right in the right place, excuse me, if you feel stuck in a certain routine and you know that you've outgrown that routine, it's time to elevate it. You're in the right place. So this is what we're going to be diving into tonight. This is the scope of the work. We are going to start by looking at a certain area of your life. As a matter of fact, I've identified 6 of them for you. So we're going to talk about those 6 areas of your life. And as we talk about those 6 areas of your life, then we're going to dream. Okay? Because after we've looked at what's happening, we want to think about what can happen. What can we make happen? And once we've dreamed, then we're going to strategize and we're going to go ahead and create that intentional strategy for those different areas of your life, those systems. Just like you have workflows in your business, and if you don't have workflows in your business, you absolutely should. Just like you have workflows in your business, we're going to strategize to create the workflows that will run your life. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen because that is all I really wanted to say about that. Now, let's talk about this operating system. If you are running on default, it is likely that you are missing some type of operating system. So, Carmen, what do you mean by an operating system? Well, just like your computer, your phone, your tablet, I have my iPad in front of me, just like it all runs on an operating system, iOS, Android, Microsoft, all those operating systems, your life has an operating system that's running in the background. Your Whether you have intentional and strategic routines or not, there are routines that are running always, always, always as you're moving through life. And so when I say you're moving on default, you really are moving in default because you have no control over the workflows that are in your life because you haven't even created them. You haven't sat down to think about it, or to be strategic and intentional about it. So that is what I mean when I say we are getting strategic about our life. So let's continue on. Let's continue on. So there are 6 areas of your life that you want to make sure that you are intentional about. Number 1 is your faith. So if you don't have a routine or a workflow for the way that you operate in faith or the way that your faith operates, girl, we got to think about that thing. We got to be intentional. If you don't have a strategy for how you meet with God on a regular basis, how you think about um, your relationship with God, then that's something that you need to be strategic about and that you've got to think about. And so that's going to require you to do what? Create a workflow. Your finances. If you don't have a strategic way that you think about your finances, then again, that's something that you need to think about. Do you get paid and then you just spend your money? Or do you have a system in place so that when you get paid, your money has somewhere to go? Or because we're talking business, do you have a way in your business that you pay yourself, that you also ensure that you make a profit, and that after you pay yourself and that money comes into your personal account, because honey, money's got to come into the we I'll tell you my story in a minute. But you got to pay yourself. And if you're not paying yourself, then why are you in business? Again, you in a business that you serve in instead of a business that's not serving you. And even if you're not making $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month right now, that's okay. You gotta start somewhere. If you and make sure that you have the system in place now so that when the money does come, you don't spend it like that and you have somewhere for it to go. But not only do you have to have the system, you've got to work the system. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, and you don't want me advising your finances, but I can help you create a system to make sure that you are working with it more intentionally. All right. The next thing is rest. I think as Black women and as high achieving women, that rest piece is something that we skip. Like, I don't know why we think we just supposed to work ourselves silly and run ourselves into the ground. Girl, stop doing that. Don't do that. Get your rest. Get your rest. And if you're not intentional, again, about the way in which you get your rest, then that's something I need you to think about. When are you going to sleep? What are you doing before you go to sleep? What are you doing when you wake up? Those are all things I need you to think about. Are you getting the 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Are you not getting the 7, 8 hours of sleep? Are you only sleeping 2 hours? Like, what is it? And if you don't have a system, again, around what that looks like to make that happen, that's where you, that's a good place for you to put that workflow into place. Your joy. Some of us are so unintentional about our joy. Your joy is the most intentional thing, the thing that you should be intentional about. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. The way that this world works and the way that the enemy works, he is always trying to steal your joy, and you know that. So if you know that the enemy is intentionally trying to steal your joy, then girl, I need you to make sure that you are intentional about creating those opportunities for joy. So that when those times come, when the enemy tries to steal your joy, then you can lean into the joy, the intentional joy that you've already created for yourself. And for some of us, like me, that requires a workflow. Just saying. Um, Health. How you keeping up with your health also requires a workflow. And then your mindset, because again, not only is the enemy coming to steal your joy, in some instances, he's coming to make you feel like you crazy. And if the enemy is making you feel like you crazy or like something's not going on right up here, then we've got to work on that. And so again, having something strategic in place to make sure that we are working on that intentionally, yes, that's what we need to do. So, let me know in the chat, either the Zoom room chat or the YouTube chat, which area of your life is it? Faith, finances, rest, joy, health, or your mindset? Do you feel like you are living in default? Like there's no intentionality behind it. Which area of your life is it? Okay. 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 All right. So let's talk about how we can be more intentional in creating that personal operating system and creating the workflows so that we can be more intentional in those areas. Now, I'm going to switch to my I sharing my iPad screen. Let's see if I can do this. You know, usually when I'm live on YouTube, I am using, listen, y'all, I don't know why this big message is right here in the middle of my screen. I wonder if it's showing up on YouTube like that. Um, but it's not showing up on my iPad like that, but it is showing up on my computer, which is weird. All right, so let's talk about faith. Let's talk about faith and how as we can now I got all these things happening. Hold on, you guys. We don't okay. All right. I connected to Zoom and then my iPad was like, "Hey girl, we gonna make sure you have all these things that pop up on your screen too." No, that's not what I want. All right, so let's talk about faith for a second. When it comes to your faith, I want you to think about what your ideal workflow looks like. Where do you want to be when it comes to your faith? That is the question that you want to answer. And that's the question that you want to answer. I don't know why this box is on the screen. That's bothering me. Um, but that is the question that you want to answer for each of these areas. What does my dream life, at my highest self, what does faith look like? At my highest self, what does managing my finances look like? Not just the amount of money that you have, but the way that you are working with your money. What are you doing with that money? What is the level 37 version of you doing with their money? When you think about rest, what are you doing? What does that look like? When you think about joy and being intentional about that joy, what does it look like? When you think about your health and your mindset, again, what does it look like? All right, so let's think about faith. Let's say, actually, where do we want to go? Where do we want to go, you all? So we want to go, we're going to pick one category. I don't think we're going to walk through all six of them today. I just want you to get the gist. Let's just go with faith. So if we're talking about faith, I want you to start to think about when it comes to your faith and when it comes to your relationship with God, what does that look like? What does that look like? Maybe that looks like a daily devotional. See, I don't know why this thing is on the middle of my screen. So we're just gonna have to live with it there. Maybe that looks like daily prayer. Maybe that looks like time to reflect. So once you've decided what it looks like, I want you to think about which of these things are you not doing now? What is not currently a part of your routine? And once you've determined which of these is not a part of your routine and what is a part of your routine, that's when we can start to think about the gaps and how to create a workflow, just like the workflows that you have in your business. How can we create a workflow in our life for this particular area? And I can create all the workflows for you that I can create all the workflows for you. But if it doesn't fit you, if it doesn't fit your personality, if it doesn't fit your life, then it's not going to matter. That's why we have to stop looking at what other people are doing. Because when we don't have our eyes on our own paper, that's when we start to burn ourselves out. So you've got to think about and worry about and concern yourself with the time, the capacity, the children, the all the things that you have. I'm not gonna tell you to get up at 4:30 in the morning just because I get up at 4:30 in the morning. Actually, this morning was more like 5:15. Your girl was like she tired and she's going to sleep in, and she did that. But I'm not gonna tell you to get up that early if that's not something that you desire to do. So when we're talking about workflows, when we're talking about creating these systems, again, a system is a repeatable process. You cannot create the repeatable process that fits a life that you don't live. So let's create a workflow for faith. So let's say these things are not in your routine, but you want for them to be in your routine. They need to be a part of your workflow. Let's make them part of the workflow. So let's say you wake up at 5 a.m. Maybe that's your time. Now, say, listen, I got kids. There are two of those things. And I know I need to be out of the house by a certain time. So that is the reason people ask me why I get up early. That's the reason why I get up early because making sure that I have time for a daily devotional, making sure that I have time for prayer and time to reflect is important to me. So I have to make sure that I have time to do that. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm not up at a decent amount of time or if I'm not up early enough, some of those things don't happen. And I know that I need them to happen in order to keep my sanity for the day. Cause y'all, I work with adults and children and children and adults that are never mind. You get it. You get it. So let's create this workflow. So let's say I get up at 5 a.m. I make my coffee. So here's and then I know that I need that faith part to be the first thing that I do in the morning. It's got to be first because if it's not first, then I'm gonna go stir crazy the rest of the day. And my sanity is important to me. So I'm gonna start that faith piece with a devotional. And it doesn't even have to be a long devotional. It could just be reading something in your Bible app. Maybe it's a Bible app, one of them plans in the Bible app. Maybe, look, I got my Bible right here. Maybe it's picking a scripture from listen, y'all, let me tell you about the Bible app. The Bible app got on my nerves, and here's why. Because I was on a 1,072 day streak, and then I missed one day, and it took me all the way back to zero. So that was when I bought a Bible, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna just read this. So maybe it's reading something in your physical Bible. Maybe it's reading a Bible app plan, whatever it is for you. But we're starting with the devotional. And then once we read the devotional, then we're going to reflect. And that might be answering some journal questions if your devotional comes with some journal questions. That might also be just sitting in stillness, waiting to hear from the Lord. That is also a could be a part of that routine. And that's also reflection. So maybe after you sit in that stillness and you ask God for something, or you get ask Him to give you some information, you sit there for a few minutes in stillness and wait and wait for that answer, or let Him reveal something to you. But you're giving God time to actually listen to what He's telling you to do. Another part of that might then be prayer, or know what? Maybe you're going to talk to God and then you're going to listen to Him. So these are reversed. That is completely up to you. Gratitude might be the last part. So now that I have done my devotional, I've reflected, I've prayed. Now I'm saying thank you, Lord, for all the good things that you've done, or all the lessons for every. Thank you for it all. And you have that gratitude as a part of your workflow as well. This right here is a repeatable process. It is a system. And you may already have a system for your finances and you don't even realize that you have the system, but you have it. That is your system. And then once you've done your gratitude, you're ready to go on, you're ready to get up and go face the world. This is a system. When we think about finances, again, what is happening when money comes to you? Because the money is coming to you. With rest, how are you being intentional about your rest? Are you going to bed at a certain time? Are you waking up at a certain time? Do you have a certain routine before you go to bed? Is there a certain time when electronics cut off and you're no longer using them? Your joy. How are you making sure that joy is a everyday part of your life? Your health. Do you meal prep? A couple of a month ago, I started juicing. So, what days do you juice? What days do you meal prep? How do you do grocery shopping? I hate the grocery store. I hate it very passionately. Instacart and Amazon have saved me from having to go into the grocery store. And that goes back to finances because it has helped my budget and it's helped my health because I can buy healthier options and I don't have to peruse the aisle seeing all the unhealthy stuff and purchasing that. And then how are you taking care of your mind on a daily basis? These are the things that you want to think about, and you want to create your workflows for these items of your life so that you can stop living in default and you can make sure that you are moving more intentionally on a daily basis. All right, that is all I have for tonight. But don't remember. Ooh, don't forget, book a call with me, carmondbrown.com/free session. That is where you can book a call with me, a realignment call, 45 minutes, me and you together on Zoom. If you're not in the Zoom room, you wouldn't know how cool it is to be here. But on Zoom with me, live for 45 minutes. We're going to strategize around what's not working in your personal operating system so that you can create a plan so that it does start to work. And of course, if we get on that call and we feel like we are aligned and that I can support you further, then girl, I got you. Also, be on the lookout. My inner circle is opening super soon. You want to keep your ears peeled because I've got a super special offer for you all to join the inner circle. It's coming soon, coming soon. And the first folks to join are going to get in where they fit in, and it's going to be an awesome space. All right, y'all, that's it for tonight. Of course, I will see you live back next week. We're doing another one of these workshops next week. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. And of course, I'll be live on Sunday evening. I will see you soon. Love you so much and have the most amazing evening ever on purpose.